I think a common misconception amongst guys that haven't approached a girl yet, like you, for example, you're watching these videos because you want to build up that courage to approach a girl. I think a common misconception between guys like you is that you feel like you need to be somebody that you're not in order to get the girl. Like you feel like you, as you are not good enough to get the girl. That you need to kind of learn some tricks or techniques or like algorithms in order to get the girl, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. And I'm glad you found my channel because a lot of people out there talk about seduction techniques and tricks and all these like pickup artist technique things that, in my opinion, are way, way, way too overly emphasized and make human connection seem way more complicated than it needs to be. Because the truth is, you have the capability to connect with a human being, with a woman, with a beautiful woman. You have that ability and it's within you, but it's hidden behind this layer of fear. And that fear is stemmed from a lot of things, fear of rejection, fear of coming off weird, fear of crossing a boundary, maybe even fear of social rejection, right? Not just rejection from one girl, but potentially rejection from society. Like, what if you approach this girl and, she freaks out and the people around you, get mad at you or something? These are all just fears. And let me tell you, as someone who's been doing this for like 2 to 3 years and has approached hundreds of girls in different countries, I'll tell you this one thing is that those things don't really happen at all. And how do you shatter that layer of fear? How do you do it, right? I'll tell you how not to do it. And it's not by creating a fake version of yourself through, pickup lines and like seduction techniques and like pickup artist stuff. Because that stuff's cringe. It's cringe, dude. Honestly, it's very cringe. And it's kind of outdated, in my opinion, also. It's by being honest. Aww. It's by being honest. And I know that sounds like a cheesy Disney movie resolution to something, but hear me out. Honesty is brave. It's incredibly brave. This is the type of honesty I mean.
Hi, it's random. I was across the street and I saw you. I thought you were really cute. And I just wanted to say hi.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
nice.
I dodged traffic to come say hi to you.
Just a simple, hey, I think you're cute. I wanted to come say hi. Nothing spectacular, nothing crazy, just a simple, hey, I think you're cute. I wanted to come say hi. It just keeps you grounded to yourself, and it makes you realize that you can get the things that you want in life by just being yourself, which is pretty powerful. It also helps you develop a more confident version of yourself. Like the more you do this, the more that you approach girls and the types of girls that you want to be with in a vulnerable, authentic, courageous, honest way, you'll realize that it's not just girls that will become attracted to you, but there's actually a lot of people out there in the world that will be attracted to you as friends or as coworkers, or you know what I mean, not in a romantic way. They'll be attracted to this honest, authentic version of yourself. And that's kind of the bigger picture with all of this, honestly, is that approaching that girl is fun, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, can potentially lead to a date and sex and a relationship potentially. But at the same time, it also helps you crack away at that layer of fear that's stopping you from just expressing your true, authentic self to everybody. To that old guy walking a dog at the park, just like, maybe you want to ask him a question and you feel this like fear. Like maybe you want to compliment somebody with a cool tattoo, but you're afraid to compliment them because you have this fear of social rejection for some reason, right? Approaching girls gets rid of that fear. Expressing yourself authentically to your best friends, even things like that, becomes so much easier when you're expressing yourself with honesty to a girl that you like. And it's not just honesty. I don't want you to just view it as this like honest, like stoic Marcus Aurelius, type of guy that, you just walk up to a girl and you're just like all stoic about it. Like, I think you're attractive and I wanted to come say hi to you. That's just my honest, feeling. I mean like a happy honesty, like a happy, fun honesty. An honesty that's like, it's this happy honesty that comes from getting it off of your chest, right? Like this anxiety that you have about fear and social rejection and, what would happen if I see that cute girl? You know, like I want to tell her, that she's cute and I want to talk to her, but I'm afraid. And you finally get it off of your chest and it's a happy feeling. You're like, man, that feels good. Like I got it off of my chest finally. And that's where that happiness comes from. Like that's kind of what I mean, like a happy honesty that comes from this relief, you know, like this, you're relieving yourself of this energy, this pent up, anxious energy that you have inside of you. And that stuff makes you fucking happy, dude. It makes you so happy. Even if the conversation didn't go well, even if the conversation was kind of clunky and awkward and you're like, hey, I think you're cute. Sorry, I never do this. I'm awkward. I'm nervous. I just wanted to come say hi. And she's like, oh, that's sweet of you. Thank you. I have a boyfriend, but I appreciate it. Thank you. And, you know, you guys part ways. Like a little clunky conversation that never went anywhere. You're going to be so happy, man, because you got it off of your chest. And that's kind of how I want you to approach this is like you could generate that happiness by doing that scary thing, that bravery to like step over those boundaries and do something that you're afraid of doing. And we all know what I mean, right? Like that anxious energy, that masculine energy inside of us that like we just can't release because for whatever reason we are afraid to release it. Like, cause you feel like it's going to be chaotic. Like you feel like people don't want that masculine energy, that society would, you know, look down on you if you release this masculine energy, even if it's the smallest little thing, like, hey, I think you're cute, I wanted to say what's up. The reason why we're afraid of releasing that masculine energy, honestly, is because growing up with social media, especially during like the Me Too movement and, you know, being on Twitter all the time during those years, like I'm 25 now, and I remember the Me Too movement happened, I think like 2017, 2018, and I was like an impressionable 18, 19-year-old guy just trying to make sense of the world, make sense of who I was as a man and like how can I attract girls? Like how could I be a man who is capable of like reproducing on this earth? It's like a very primal, basic need, you know? It's like how do I confirm and validate that like I could be that guy, you know? Be a desirable guy. And growing up in that era where I was just on Twitter all the time and constantly seeing like stuff like hashtag kill all men or, you know, men are evil type of stuff. I basically got told that as a man, I would be bothering a woman if I expressed my masculinity. That essentially masculinity is bad and that you should be very careful with how you express it. Because men have caused wars and oppression, that stuff is all valid, right? It's totally valid on a kind of grand scale. But then it makes you think, like, as a man, just as a regular guy in society, as a guy that just has no ill will or, you know, evil intention to do anything mean to anybody, you kind of feel stuck because you're like, you know, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I am lonely. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but I'm lonely. And dating apps aren't working for me. And nightlife is kind of scary and weird, and I don't like it. So what do I do? Like, can I just approach that girl that I find cute? And we grow up all our life kind of not being encouraged to do that. At least a lot of us. I mean, it kind of depends on maybe you learned from your dad. Maybe you had a dad that taught you how to talk to girls, or maybe you had older brothers that taught you, or maybe like, you know, some cool friend group of guys that taught you how to do it. I know for a fact for myself, my dad was a very passive man. He's a great guy. He's literally like a human ChatGPT. He's like the most intelligent guy that I know. But when it came to these core basic masculine teachings, I guess is a way to put it, he couldn't teach that to me because he was also a guy who was kind of shy and socially awkward when he was younger. So it's not like he could just tell me how to, you know, be brave as a man. And yeah, and because of my dad being kind of a passive guy, my mom took a more active role in raising me and being the one there for me as far as like when I had questions and when I wanted to vent about my life to her and, you know, talk to her about like all these, you know, problems I was having. And like, she was the one there for me, you know. I'm sure that some of you guys understand what I mean. It's like dads are kind of distant a lot, even though they're smart and, you know, strong in their own ways. Sometimes they don't really teach us the things that we really feel like they should have taught us, at least, you know? Like, we never had that like masculine guide, that sort of older guy in our life to sort of guide us through these like very basic, almost like spiritual, ancient rites of passage. And I genuinely believe that approaching a woman as a guy is a rite of passage. It's something that takes bravery and courage. It's scary to do. It's scary to put yourself out there, but just imagine the alternative. Imagine that you spend the rest of your life hidden behind this wall of fear, growing older and never actually expressing your identity the way that you wanted to. Learning how to do this is kind of a lonely journey for a lot of men, but it doesn't have to be. You could join my tribe, Winning Self-Expression. It's a rapidly growing tribe of young men that are all pushing themselves socially, holding each other accountable, and a place to talk to people who understand you. We've already got a few guys that have made tons of progress, and I'm really excited to see their growth. You could also hop on a one-on-one call with me where I'll give you personalized feedback and advice on your current situation. The link for that is in the description below, and that's it. I'll see you guys next time.